Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of 15 Good Minutes. I'm here with JR today. What's happening, buddy?
Nothing happening, man. I'm loving this weather. It's cooling down. You can tell it's becoming football season.
I think it's interesting because we don't, first let me say this. Freddie's not here this week because he's getting a brand new computer. He is the commissioner of our fantasy football league, and he's been working with an outdated machine. So he is with the Geek Squad right now, getting that taken care of. But what I was going to say is on the show, we don't usually, coordinate much before we get together. I find it interesting that on this show, without any coordination, we're both wearing Oxon Hill basketball shirts. I mean, I don't think that has happened like in forever. So I'm gonna pop a link to this week's show into Coach Howard just to say, yo, man, come on, man. Fella's still here, bro.
We rapid.
No, we're not coming back. So what I wanted to do today, Mace, especially because it's just you and me, I wanted to talk a little bit about baseball, Major League Baseball, but with an emphasis on the pennant race or, the wild card standings, because I think it's tight in the AL and the NL, and I'm curious to see what you're seeing so far right here. We're coming up near the end of August. Games really matter a lot, and then we can see if either of us think the current, where they're lining up right now, if you expect any of those to change. So I'm going to start with you, and let's go with the American League first, right? So right now, as we're speaking, the American League leaders, there's three. The Yankees are in the East, Cleveland, Central, Houston in the West. The three wild card leaders are Baltimore, Kansas City, and Minnesota. Now, the margin between that last Minnesota team and the Yankees in the top is this narrow. What are you seeing in the American League, and do you expect that order to change between now and the time that we get into the playoff?
I'm hoping it doesn't change, but I don't think anybody's safe in the American League, especially in the East.
True. I mean, right now, both the wild card leader, Baltimore, and the
almost identical.
They're the same record. They both have 73. So
yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't. Who'd you say that was the wild card again? It was
Baltimore, Kansas City Royals, Minnesota Twins. And if you really, right outside that window, you got Boston, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. But I'm just going to stick with the ones that are.
Okay. I'm not going to count. I don't want to be the one to count Boston out because you never can tell what happens. I don't want them to, but I think Minnesota could make a move. That could be the change in that league. Baltimore could be the division champs. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to tell in that league. Everybody's close and everybody's losing games that they shouldn't be losing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, blowing. I shouldn't say they shouldn't be losing. I should say blowing games that they should be winning.
I think everybody has to deal with that, though. Here's the thing. We talk about this in the NFL too. Sometimes it's just a matter of what division you're in. Because, like, as an example, right now, the Central leading, the Western leading Houston Astros have less wins than all of the wild card teams.
Yes.
And we go back to a year ago where what's going to end up happening when I haven't gotten it yet, but when we get to the National League, San Diego and LA are going to be right there. And in any other world, they would both be meeting up in the World Series. But because they're both in the West. So I don't like Houston, but I can't fault them that in the American League West, they're ahead with 68 wins. Everybody else that we've talked about in the American League has 70 or more. So to your point, losses are going to happen. And sometimes I think it's just a matter of being in the right division, or opposite of that would being in the wrong division.
Well, even people starting to hit hit at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Some guys are out to lunch as far as men on base. You scoring, you're leaving people. A bunch of teams are leaving people on base. You know, and I'm talking about with their guns, with their with their big hitters. So it's a matter of I think people getting hot at the right time during the latter part of the season. You know what I'm saying? We've seen in the past, a lot of people come from behind 6, 7 games and they just got on the right streak. And don't forget, a lot of these teams that are first and second, they're playing each other later in the year. That's why I say I'm never going to count Boston out. Even though I
Boston's
hate
got some work to do if they plan to get in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But I'll say to your point that what I call the stretch run, I think we're here now. Number one. Number two, sometimes it's not always about leaving guys on base. The Sunday, this past Sunday, they do a thing which I like every year. They play a major league game in the middle of the Little League All-Star game.
All-Star game, yeah.
In this particular case, it was a good game. It was the Yankees against Detroit. Game goes to extra innings. New York does what they have to do to get the lead, so it wasn't leaving people on base that lost it.
Well,
the closer didn't do a good job.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job.
Right. So, I mean, there's a bevy of things that are going to happen, but I don't think it's unique. The Yankees are still in first place. So I'm not coming down on them.
Really?
Right. I need them to be in the conversation because to your point, where you are right now at the end of August to me means nothing. What matters in my book is if you're one of those top 6, whether it's wild card or you make your run the second half of September, that's all any of us are going to be talking about when we get to that point. Is anybody in the National League that you feel that way about currently? Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and Milwaukee lead their respective divisions. Right behind them, San Diego, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Atlanta Braves. What do you see in the National?
San Diego. They'll make the move.
What does that mean? They're already in. What do you mean they make a move?
I thought you were talking about there was wild card. They're not.
They are first place in the wild card right now. They're in the wild card.
Okay. All right. Well,
so are you saying they're going to win the division or?
Hold up. I got my screen up here. Let me get my screen right.
Yeah, I'm saying between those 6 teams, right?
Yeah.
If you want to look at the West, since you're picking on San Diego, today there's a 3-game difference between the two of them. When you say they're going to make a move,
San Diego.
Yeah, when you say they're going to make a move, are you saying they're going to overtake the Dodgers?
No, I'm trying to find this here. I think it's possible. I really need to look at I think
they're playing well.
I need to look at their remaining games. There's only like 27 or 37 games left. So I got to see who they're playing down the stretch. But I think they're playing good ball, man. They are. So I think it's a possibility. How many on the loss column? Yeah, it's 3.
They're behind 3.
Yeah.
So, that's all I'm trying to say. I know you said you picked them. They're a lock in the wild card. I'm just saying if you pick them, you're saying they're going to jump to they're going to win the West.
Well, yeah, I think there's a possibility they can take out the Dodgers. I really do.
Looking at, huh?
Hold up. Yeah, that's it. It says three games behind. Yeah, in the loss column.
And LA's got Muncy back.
Yes.
Mookie back, and a healthy Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me ask you this, brother. You got something to say today? If so, what do you got?
Well, I got something to say, and it's not really political. It's just okay. This is what I got to say. We already know that if Vice President Kamala Harris is elected president, she will be the first African American president. We already know that. I don't feel that we have to keep saying it.
So what was Obama then?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, you said she's the first African American. What was Obama?
No, first African American female. I should
say that then, because don't. Yeah.
I just think that we already know that. You know what I'm saying? So we made the statement. Everybody's making the statement, but I noticed when I was watching some of the the Democratic convention tonight, most of the African American people kept saying she will be the first African American, and all of the white people just said the next president. They didn't say black. They didn't have to. They just said the next president. And just to me, it just bothers me is that we already know it, and you don't have to keep saying it because, okay, she's first. We know that. It's you can see it. So it just bothers me that I think that sometimes some people in this country will use that as a say a bullseye on the dartboard. You know what I'm saying? As with President Obama, when he became president, we all know the Republicans said, you know, we got to do everything we can to make him a one-term president. So there's still going to be people out there having their feelings and doing whatever it is. But I just think that we already know it. You don't have to keep saying it. And just let, because that's the only way people are going to just say people are people. That's the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I could see who you are, and you know what I'm saying? So I don't need to keep saying that. That's just my opinion, and that's what I got to say.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. We're going to do a State of the Union show I'm working on. Hopefully it's going to be live. I'm sure from the panel that we'll bring that up and see what that is. I personally don't have a problem with it at all. I don't think it has anything to do with who is or isn't going to vote for her. I think it's something that a lot of people are extremely proud of. So, I mean, I've been watching.
I'm proud. Oh, believe me, I'm proud. I'm very proud of it.
But you think they bring up her ethnicity too much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I just think so.
All right. Well, that's your I got something to say. My I got something to say is that I don't necessarily agree with your I got something to say, but that's why we're here. I'm going to leave it at that. And we will see what we get from Mr. Jordan when he comes back next week with his new laptop, his new machine to be a faster commissioner. I wasn't going to say a better commissioner because he's already the best commissioner that we've ever had. So looking forward to Freddie coming back. So there you have it. Hope you folks are able to watch some of this baseball. Seriously, it's the races are very good, and pay attention to the ones that are trying to get into the wild card. Not so much between the wild card and the leaders. That's where the dogfights are happening. That's where some really good games are happening. If you haven't watched teams like the Cincinnati Reds, you need to. You need to go see that. There's a lot of good baseball being played at places other than the top of this league. I guess I did have something to say. So that's important. So there you have it. We hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Went a little bit long, but I think it was important. We will get with you guys next week. Have a great weekend.